Let's rise. Show me what you got. Get a sip of the rye.
Hey, what's up? Welcome to the third episode of Get a Sip of the Rye. I am your host, Jason Bass. And I know normally I am sitting at the bar at Sagamore Distillery, but today we go 22 miles north to the beautiful Sagamore Farm. And we're going to get a little education on Maryland's thoroughbred racing, the history of what's been going on here, what the future plans are, and get a tour from Jocelyn. Since it's Preakness weekend, we thought this was an appropriate place to kind of do this whole journey together. And of course, we're going to make cocktails with an amazing mixologist, and his name is Andy from Jack Rose out of DC. He's a creative director there, and they're an infamous bar with thousands of different whiskeys to choose from. But up next, we're gonna get some tasting notes on one of our amazing products from Ryan.
Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Norwood. I'm the Director of Operations here at Sagamore Spirit. Thanks for joining me. The next product that I'm gonna talk to you about is our Sagamore Spirit Double Oak Rye Whiskey. With the Double Oak Rye Whiskey, this was a really fun one for us to play around with. And it started out with our same mash bill that we used for the Signature 83 and the cask strength. But this time what we did was we actually took that whiskey, we dumped it, blended it together, and then we put it back into wave stave barrels, new American oak barrels that have a #1 char on them. So a wave stave is where they've gone and they've actually cut grooves lengthwise in the staves. What this does is it increases surface area and allows for a lot more of that whiskey to touch the oak. What this has done for us is it's made a very well-balanced, rich, toasted oak flavor into our whiskey. It spends about a year plus in those extra wave stave barrels. Same thing, I'm gonna walk you through our tasting again, starting with the visual. You can tell on this one, the visual is gonna be a little bit darker. It's gonna be a little bit more of that golden amber, darker amber color coming out of it. Again, it's gonna be bright and clear. Going for the aroma. The aroma has that same baking spices that come through, but there's also some really nice citrus. There's a little bit of fruitiness that comes through on it, and then some of those toasted coconut, toasted nut flavors that come through from the wood. Last, I'm gonna taste it. Again, it's really, really well balanced, very drinkable. It comes across with a lot of like toasted coconut. I get some hazelnut, a little bit of pecan, so you can tell that's really toasty. A lot of that is going to come from that barrel. It comes through really, really well. It finishes very smooth, especially for a 96.6 proof whiskey. Thank you all for joining me today. I appreciate your time and walking through our product line.
Excellent. Thank you, Ryan, for educating us on double oak, wave staves. Everybody has one oak. We got two. We put waves in our staves. It's just incredible. I'm usually the drinker, not the scientist behind it all. So I appreciate you teaching us that. And I am here now in the Sagamore Spirits aging barn on Sagamore Farm. It smells fantastic. I get a lot of oak and whiskey smells in there. I wish you could get a little bit of that during in the screen. But I'm here right now with Andy, creative director and mixologist at Jack Rose in DC. How you doing?
Fantastic, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate you being here.
Hell of a location to be doing this.
Yeah, it's hard not to crack one of these barrels open and get
I know. I just want to start
right?
thieving some. Like they literally call it a whiskey thief. I want to go in there and start thieving some of this. This looks great.
You know, I have a feeling you're going to teach us a lot, not only about the whiskey thief, but also about cocktails. So.
Yeah.
What are we going to do here?
Yeah, I'd say, so I think we can start off. Let's go ahead. I wanted to make kind of a riff on a perfect Manhattan.
Okay.
So a perfect Manhattan, normally what we're doing is taking out some of that sweet vermouth and adding in some dry vermouth. The goal is kind of to cut down that sugar, make it a little bit of a drier cocktail. But I like a little bit more depth in my cocktails, and perfect Manhattans can feel sometimes a little bit light. So we're gonna, instead of pulling out that sweet vermouth and adding dry vermouth, I'm instead gonna add some Amontillado sherry.
Okay.
So we're using a dry Spanish wine. This is gonna bring some nuttiness in there. None of that real residual sugar that we'd be seeing. But what we don't have are those aromatized like compounds and the bittering agents that go into a vermouth. So we're going to be pumping that up with Coki's Dopo Teatro, which they call a vermouth amaro. So they're going to be taking their Coki di Torino, which is a Torrent style sweet vermouth recipe. Then they're actually going to be throwing in a little bit of red wine in there, some Barolo, and then upping some of their bittering agents. So what we're going to do is still only use about a half an ounce of this, but this is going to pull in that bitterness that we want to really help balance things out.
These are the sexiest whiskey words I've ever heard about.
Oh man, I will talk to you all day.
The whiskey saves, like
you're getting all the science and all the love while we get to drink all the fun.
I love that. So what made you choose that as an alternative to?
I love sherry. One of my other programs outside of Jack Rose is called the Imperial, and we have a much more, our cocktail and beverage program is focused more on low ABV, fortified wines, aromatized wines. I love what sherry does. If we don't drink sherry, the Scotch whiskey market doesn't flourish. So, I like to think that what we're doing is kind of helping the Scotch industry while we get to enjoy it with our American-made stuff.
I want to drink the Scotch industry into a good space.
Right. We gotta help lift them up. We gotta build them up, because otherwise, I'm not going to say we don't deserve them, but anyway, then we're going to obviously finish this off with some Sagamore Rye. The signature is just going to be perfect for this. Again, we have that nice rye spice that's going to kind of cut through, kind of balance things out. I think rye is perfect for most classic whiskey cocktails. Plus, it wasn't until 1963, 1964 that we really found that bourbon started to come in as that quintessential whiskey in cocktails. Really? Before that, rye was king. It was, you had incredible brands like BPR, Baltimore Pure Rye. You had Pikesville coming out of Maryland. You had a ton of really great. Wild Turkey in the 1960s. They used to, in 1950s, they used to actually source Maryland rye.
I didn't know that.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Jimmy Russell said that people didn't want Kentucky rye. Like back then, nobody wanted Kentucky rye. They wanted Maryland rye. They wanted that Maryland rye. And rye is just that perfect kind of spirit that kind of helps to drive that spice and kind of cut through that dryness. Bourbon has that richer sweetness. It's, there's a lot of factors as to why bourbon kind of maybe took over as that dominant spirit.
What was that turning point, you think, around that time?
I think, honestly, it's got to be things like corn subsidies. Corn growing is such a huge aspect of American culture, and one of those big products that we produce, that it was such a great release valve for some of that extra corn stocks, and a way for us to kind of start utilizing some of that and kind of tie it in a little bit more. And I mean, as always, spirits have always been so involved in the infrastructure and kind of economic systems of everything as we've gone through. So much.
Everything.
Oh my God, yes.
It's not just a drink.
No,
I know you're a creative director. Can I call you Professor Whiskey? I
feel like I need a monocle, maybe. I don't know if I'm dressed properly for that. I might need a little bit more of a tie. I don't know. Chameleons, I'd be a pretty badass professor if I think I walked in there. Absolutely. The liquor industry has always been kind of involved and hidden inside of that. It's always been kind of a seamless aspect of the things that go on. It's helped develop trade and build infrastructure and connections with people. And I think the American whiskey market has been such an awesome thing. And I think revitalizing things like bringing rye back to Maryland is something that I think is so cool that Sagamore is doing right now. For the last couple of years, I've had a small 10-gallon barrel that I've filled up with I broke it down, filled it up with a couple of barrel staves, and I've been aging. We do a bitters blend for our old fashions at our Manhattan. So we take 3 different types of bitters. Angostura, which is that quintessential classic cocktail bitters you're gonna find in every liquor store, behind every bar, and a little bit of orange bitters. But then to kind of, again, add some more depth. I like that depth. I like kind of playing with the richness of a cocktail. We're going to take something called Bitter Truth's Jerry Thomas Decanter Bitters. And Jerry Thomas was, he's known as the professor, funnily enough. That's why when he said that, I was like, I don't know if I could take the title. It's already been taken.
He's the bitter professor. You're the whiskey professor.
He was actually the first person to ever write down cocktail recipes in a book. He was one of the first people to ever create that bar book to help teach, because until then, bartending was this trade of secrets. My drinks were my secret. Jerry Thomas said, no, we need to learn. So these are the Jerry Thomas Decanter Bitters are actually going to be a reference and homage to one of the recipes found in one of his earlier books. But then I blend the 3 of those together, and I've had for probably about the last 2 or so years them sitting in a 10-liter barrel that I've kind of broken apart and added some extra barrel staves inside of. I haven't cut them.
Staves?
No wavy staves. I was just about to say I didn't cut any waves in them, man. I didn't get any waves in them. These are just normal. I know. Well, listen, I can't take the wavy staves. That's double oak. I'm not going to steal the wavy staves. No, but I've let them sit in there for probably about 2.5 years. And every time we like pull a little bit out, I fill it up with a little bit more of the fresh barrels, fresh bitters batch.
I tried to make my own bitters and it was a mess. It was a mess. So
they make great products already. They make great products already. I blend, and I let them come together and become happy over a long period of time. I want them to love each other over time, like we're gonna love them in the cocktail.
That would make me feel a little bit more like advanced with it, because beginners, that's not a starting point.
Making your own bitters is a very difficult concept. You have different levels of infusion times that some herbs are gonna need to get like the flavors across. Mm-hmm. Are you hot infusing? Are you cold infusing? What are you doing? Like when you're making bitters, it's a little bit more of it's a tougher call. But when you know the products that you're working with and you trust those products, it's really easy to take those and try to like expound upon them and make them do and fit the roles that you want a little bit better.
I'll tell you what, I can smell it already. It smells phenomenal. Even over top of everything that we're catching inside the aging barn right now.
I mean, we have oak and just barrel candy all around the wonderful fumes of all of this whiskey coming to its life.
Got you. How do we garnish up? There we go.
We're rocking with cherries. We're going classic, but I am going to just go ahead and what I do love to do, give a little bit of an expression of lemon over top. This is going to do is kind of brighten that nose, and it's going to give us that little bit of citrus that we want to kind of cut things through.
I am so excited to try this out.
As am I.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Wonderful job.
My pleasure.
Wow, this tastes fantastic. I get the lemon, I get the oakiness, I get all those vegetal notes that you were talking about right there.
Right.
Wow, I can taste the difference. This is
depth and complexity, light and dry, super
yes.
clean, really easy drinking.
Some say perfect. Now, Andy, while you're getting ready to make the next cocktail, I think this is an amazing job that you just did. And we encourage everybody to go over and sign up for Sagamore Whiskey Thieves right now. Hey, what's up? I'm here with Jocelyn, and we're up here on the main Sagamore farmhouse. How you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for coming.
I am so excited to be here. It is so beautiful in here.
It's something else, right?
Yeah.
Looking down over that hill into the vista.
Yeah, all the views are incredible. But I know that you are like the ruler of the farm right now, right? So that's why we're going to get the good tour with you and do all this extra stuff. So tell me a little bit about you.
Well, I can't wait to take you down on the farm. I've been here at Sagamore about 6 years and absolutely love getting to be part of such a beautiful, historic farm. Have you been to this farm before?
Once or twice, but I've never really gotten a tour. Right?
Sure. You don't know the true history, do you?
No. So tell me a little bit about the history.
So the cool thing is everyone knows this farm as being the Vanderbilt property.
Yes.
He had it the longest, a lot of history here from the Vanderbilt era. But the fun fact that I don't think we can get some pride from Baltimore for this is it actually was Emerson of Bromo Seltzer who purchased this farm for his daughter.
Wow.
Yes.
I've seen the tower.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
So all the Baltimore people know what I'm talking about. All the out-of-towners are like, Bromo, what?
Yeah. It sounds like a drink.
Well, it was. It was a magic elixir.
You know what? I didn't know that either. That's pretty funny.
Really?
Yeah. I had no clue why they called it that. I'm just like, oh, it's the Bromo Seltzer Tower. Like,
You'll have to Google that one.
I will. Shoot. How large is it again? How many
It's
acres?
530 acres.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
It started out as thousands of acres, and then over the years, it's been sort of parceled off. So, 530 acres, just rolling beautiful hills.
I don't think that's enough space for horses.
Right.
So I understand that things might be changing around here a little bit.
Yeah, so we're super proud of our racing history and all that we've accomplished on the track, but we're even more excited for this next chapter to really get involved more with our Sagamore Spirit partners, our teammates down there. You know the water, you know the story.
Yes, that spring has a house.
The spring has a house, and you'll see it firsthand.
Yes.
You'll drink the water firsthand right out of the spring. But now we're also going to be growing some grains here. So we'll be able, we've already, as you saw out front, we'll already have a paddock has been transferred. It's going to be corn, and it will be all the corn for our annual non-GMO corn product for
Wow,
our rye.
huge.
Yeah,
Wow.
we're really proud of that.
So everything will be grown here.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yep. And then as far as the rye goes, a lot of the rye will be grown here. We've already started planting that. You'll see it down at the spring house. And they will be sourcing rye from their other farms. It's important to have a very diverse rye crop from what I've learned. So we'll start growing rye here as well. And it's really cool that we can say something will be completely made with all ingredients from our farm.
There's a saying about that. It's a poor distiller that has one rye patch.
There you go, right?
Grow from.
Yes, exactly. This is it. We'll have grain silos here on the farm. So we'll be doing some really cool things. But everyone on the team here is super excited. We still have retired horses here. They're going to greet our visitors, and maybe you can snuggle a few if you're willing to.
After a couple sips of the rye, it's possible.
All right, it's possible. They're very friendly, I promise. I wouldn't introduce you to one that wasn't.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm trusting you there for sure.
So we'll take you all through the farm, show you where the fields that are being converted are, show you the spring house, and let you really get down on ground level and see what we're doing down there.
I'm so excited about that because coming up here, I saw one of those little cars, the Gators.
Yes.
That's what they're called. So we get to drive one of those around the farm.
Totally.
Tour.
Yes, we do.
Fantastic. All right.
Yeah.
I'm getting excited for that one. Excellent. Thank you, Jocelyn. I can't wait to get a tour of the farm. I know that's going to be amazing. And now we're going to head down to the aging barn with Andy, and he's going to whip up one of his cocktails, which is called Par for the Course. Can't wait to try this one out. All right. It was great spending time with Jocelyn, and we'll be back with her to take a tour of the farm. You won't want to miss that. But right now, I'm joined again with Andy to make another cocktail called Par for the Course.
Absolutely. So we started with a Manhattan. Perfect in its style, a little bit nuttier, darker. I wanted to stick with that Manhattan, but let's go with a little bit of that Preakness vibe. Let's go with a little bit of this, springtime vibes.
Gotcha.
So Par for the Course is kind of going to be a play on a John Daly, which would be a boozy Arnold Palmer.
Okay. Or Baltimore, half and half.
That's way better. Okay, yeah. All right, so we're talking about a boozy half and half right here. Okay, cool. So we're gonna be playing with a little bit more ingredients than we played with the last one. So I'm gonna start first with a little bit of Sagamore. This is gonna be our base spirit. This is, again, like we had in that first Manhattan, gonna provide that rye spice, that richness, that base alcohol that we want, and that kind of oaky depth that's gonna help to play with that black tea that we're going to bring in.
Gotcha.
So first thing we're going to add, we're going to work with our bittering agents first. We're going to start playing with some Amari. These are going to be the things, Amaro is Italian for bitter. These are going to be the things that are going to kind of provide that bitterness that will balance out for the fact that we're not using a vermouth. So the first is going to be High Wire's Southern Amaro. So this was kind of a take on a Southern sweet tea.
Okay.
So we're going to have some of those darker black tea flavor profiles, a little bit of vanillas and round, rich sweetness to it. But the bitterness isn't super there.
I love the way this sounds. And I've never heard of that brand before, so you just gave me something to look into after this.
Really cool brand out of South Carolina. They're doing a ton of things like Sagamore's doing now with trying to grow their own rye to start doing their things. These guys are all about agriculture. These guys do a ton of things with corn, but other grains as well, sorghum, rye. But their Amari, I thought, was super cool and really played well with this. Next up, to kind of pump up that bitterness, because again, this provides us darker, richer flavors, but not as much that dryness.
Okay.
So Luxardo's Bitter Bianco is going to be the next thing.
Okay.
So this is a Blanc style bitter. We can kind of sometimes play it into the same places as maybe a Suze. So a ton of gentian, floral, citrus, aromatics, and bitters kind of going on. Gonna add that in there. These two things were kind of to play in for the fact that what we're using is a sherry as our fortified wine. Instead of that dry or that sweet vermouth, we're going to be taking a Manzanilla sherry, which is on the driest side of sherry. It has almost a little bit of salinity to it as well. We're going to go ahead and use a full ounce for each cocktail of this. Get us this really nice, bright, again, this acidity that helps us to create this refreshing flavor profile. And that's going to be really dialed in by adding this, which is going to be lemon peel infused Verjus Blanc.
Okay.
Now those were a lot of words, but Verjus Blanc is going to be, I feel like it has a roll to it. Verjus as a concept is going to be the sour grapes that are unripe for wine pressing. A little bit too sour. So they're going to press that juice, and we're going to use this as kind of a citrus alternative.
Awesome.
But infusing in that lemon peel is going to get us all that flavor of this lemonade that we're kind of going for. So just a little bit of that in there. Again, I don't want this to steer too far from that Manhattan. I want it to still be right there, but I want it to have that air, that aspect to it. But to kind of bring it into this springtime, this Preakness time, this brightness.
This is coming up.
For
those summer, spring.
We're in Baltimore. We're in Baltimore. This
There
is
we
where
go.
we need to be. We're going to bring in a little bit of raspberry. So this is going to be some Creme De Framboise.
And what is Creme De Framboise?
We're going to be talking about a raspberry liqueur.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Framboise. It's going to be a raspberry cordial. So a raspberry liqueur. So we've got these bright, like red fruits coming through that's going to tie in to make this kind of a raspberry half and half. Now to kind of tie everything in, we have the acidity coming in from here, but like I said, this is tartaric acids.
Yeah.
Right here, this is what I call acido. So this is going to be a blending of citric, malic, lactic, tartaric acids, all bound together with a little bit of a salt. But this kind of brings in all of those acids we find in most foods and kind of helps to juice things up, but without, again, putting in that fresh citrus that can really kind of mess with the flavor profiles.
And it's a little bit of a Harry Potter, you know.
Oh man,
this magic words.
Absolutely. This is my little potion.
But, cool.
One of my favorite parts of this job is how many words I get to make up. All right, I get to make up names for things. I get to make up syrup names and all these things. The words is the verbosity.
It's part entertainment, part education. So
some might say
edutainment.
Ooh, I like this. All right, so again, like we talked about before, that ice, this chilling, this dilution, this is what's going to get it to the point where we're really like, yes, I want this on a hot summer's day. Bring in that air of being on a porch, hanging out with friends. Yes.
Fresh air, you know, good time with good people. This is cool. So what kind of food are we eating with this?
Whoa. I think we can go with some seafood. I think we could get that's the thing. Yeah, we're going with lighter. Yeah, what? All day. We're talking lighter body. This is refreshing. This is fun. This is quick. This is clean. We're gonna kind of express a little bit of lemon peel again over top of each of these.
Get that slow motion misting.
Oh, yes.
Still needs a little cologne too, you know. You gotta freshen it up.
It's gotta smell great and taste great.
I love the garnish. It looks fantastic.
Ties in that full aspect of our boozy half and half.
I am excited to try this. Thank you, Andy.
Jason.
Let's get a sip.
My pleasure.
I love this. This is the best half and half I've ever had in my life. I'm ready to order a bushel of crabs.
I feel like I got this
in
from
a picture.
Yes.
You killed it, man. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate you being here.
Jason, my pleasure.
All of Andy's recipes will be included on social media, Sagamore Spirits, Instagram. And we're going to be joined next with Jocelyn for a tour of the farm. Stick around. Hey, Jocelyn, what's up?
What's up, Jay?
Yo, we just had some fantastic cocktails in the aging barn,
Woo.
and we are ready to see what's next. So what are we about to do?
Oh, we're gonna go down to the farm and see what really happens around here.
Let's do this.
You ready?
Ready to hold on to my hat. Let's
you
go.
better. Let's go. Woohoo! So welcome to Sagamore Farm.
Thanks for having me. This is beautiful.
Thank you. This is really heaven on earth.
When you pull up, it's crazy because you just see these like rolling hills and white fences everywhere. And it's just a beautiful sight. It's gorgeous out here.
This farm is well known for the four-board white fences and the red roof farm. So that goes back to Vanderbilt. And when we redid this farm, it was really cool. We paid tribute to the great history here, and then wrote our own too. You know, we always talk about how rye whiskey is bourbon's older brother.
Yeah.
We were making rye whiskey before they were doing anything in Kentucky.
Yes.
And the same goes for horse racing.
Yeah, same thing,
We've
right?
been racing, the Preakness has been running longer than the Derby.
So this is more of like operationally speaking, this is like a vertically integrated process or whatever.
Totally,
right?
absolutely. And it's so exciting for us. You know, we love the horse chapter, but the whole team here is super excited for this next chapter and making the best rye whiskey in the world.
What an incredible experience to be a part of.
So we can go inside and visit one very special horse in particular.
Which horse is this?
His name is Rick House, which is the name of the barn where we store all of our whiskey.
Okay.
And he was named by the fans of Sagamore Spirit. We had a naming contest.
That's beautiful. I saw this pulling up and immediately it just caught my eye. And it's incredible. It's a small building, but it has a presence to it.
Oh, for sure.
And being close up on it, you can really see like just the textures of it and how special it really is.
It's such a special place. And when you see the inside and the true we truly say it's a magical place. So when you get inside, you're going to be pretty sure you're going to be pretty wowed by what you see.
So
in
what
here.
does a spring need a house?
We got to protect our beautiful spring.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I'll tell you more about it when we get out.
All right, cool. Where are we right now? What is this?
This is our spring house.
Okay.
So this is truly the genesis for the entire story. Sagamore Spirit, our amazing water.
Mm-hmm.
This house goes back to 1909.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Doesn't look like it. It looks pretty new.
maybe we dusted it off a little bit, but if you look right here on the wall, so this building actually dates back to 1909, same as you see written on the front of our bottle, 1909.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
It all ties together. So the CAC is for Charles A. Councilman. So he put this building here, this spring house, and the water that runs behind us that you'll see in a minute, that's called Councilman's Run for Charles A. Councilman.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So why does a spring need a house?
We got to protect our spring from everything around it. Keep it nice and clear, and you'll see when we get inside why it's so important to have it protected.
It's beautiful. Feels fantastic.
Isn't it amazing?
So excited to check out this spring.
Feel like you're stepping back in time, right?
Who knew I would like want to see a spring so badly? Wow, this is beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't imagine this being a house for a spring. This is just a beautiful space.
Well, spring welcomes you to its home.
Thank you, spring.
You ready to see the real deal where the
please.
magic happens? All right, come on down.
Whoa. I didn't know what to expect out of a spring house, but this is
So if you look
looks
right over
great.
there, see where all the bubbles are popping up?
yeah. What is that?
That is the natural spring.
That's the filtration. That's the
it.
water coming.
It's
through
coming
the
right up from the ground. It's just truly something special if you've never seen it before. This water is a constant 53 degrees, never changes temperatures, no matter how hot or how cold it gets, because it's just natural. It's coming right from the ground.
Right from the earth.
Yeah. And when we go around back and you see just how much water is getting pushed out by this little spring, you're just going to blow your mind.
I mean, so far, like the smell of it is extremely fresh. Like you wouldn't think of just a body of water. You could imagine like the scents that could come from this. It just smells, aromatic and
Absolutely.
amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we love showing people and getting them to see this for the first time and saying, wow, this is like the real thing, like a natural spring water. So when we talk about getting the best water there is.
This is what's in the rye.
This is it right
Comes
here.
straight down 83. Right
Exactly
to the
right. That's why it's 83 proof, my friend.
There we go. Good connection.
All right. Do you want to go around back and see this output?
Please.
All right. Awesome.
Some whiskey back there too?
All right. So you came all this way to see our spring house.
Yes.
But have you heard about our tradition?
Heard a little bit about it.
Our
I don't know too
initiation,
much.
if you will?
I'm ready for it, whatever it is.
You're going to get to take a sip out of our natural spring right here.
Okay.
But you
Sip
have
of the
to-
rye, now a sip of the spring.
Exactly right. But you
Okay.
have to plank and do it.
All right.
You up for that?
I'm up for that.
All right. I'll go first.
My pandemic body is prepared.
It's like the COVID-19
Right.
pounds. All right.
All right, how do we do this?
So what we do, hand here,
Okay.
and then you plank down.
You killed that.
Thank you, sir. Now it's your turn. May I
This is not hat approved.
will hold your
so-
hat. I'm
You're
here for you.
Here comes the real waves from the steves or whatever. This is what the barrel was designed from. These luscious boys. All right. Let's see.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
Woo! Oh,
That was good.
what'd you think?
That was solid. It was juicy. Juicy and spring-like.
Refreshing.
Yeah. I loved it.
Hard to believe that much water is coming out of that little spring. Isn't
It is. It's incredible.
Yeah. So this is where it all began with the water, and then right behind you is
Doesn't
actually
taste like whiskey at all, by the way.
no, isn't that strange?
Oh, it's weird.
It's terrible. Got some whiskey inside. Don't you worry.
Really? Okay. What were you gonna say about that?
Oh, so right behind you is the future cornfield. So very soon it will be planted, and that will be enough corn for the entire annual non-GMO corn for our rye whiskey.
That's beautiful. So the corn will be here,
Yep.
the water will be here, and
Yep.
the rye will be right here.
Yeah, so we already have some rye growing here, about 12 acres.
Yeah.
And then just on the other side of the cornfield will be another huge field of our very own rye.
I feel like I should just pick a little blade of the rye, just put it in my teeth, and
Get your overalls.
get my overalls, and
We'll
we're
be
good.
ready.
Let's do that.
Nice.
All right, I want to thank everybody for joining us for the third episode of Sip of the Rye. We had a great journey today with Jocelyn, who gave us a tour of the farm and told us everything about what to expect as the next part of this beautiful space out here. And we had some fantastic cocktails with Andy from DC's Best, Jack Rose. He did an amazing job. I can't wait to try his cocktails at home. You can find his recipes online again on Sagamore Spirits Instagram. You can also follow along to find out everything that's coming up as far as events go at the distillery. And don't forget to sign up for Sagamore Spirit Whiskey Thieves. All right, so I'm gonna do a little toast right now, and I want you guys to do it along with me. Here it goes. May you live as you want, and may you never want as long as you live. Cheers. And now it's time to get out of here, because this rain is coming down on me. There's something different right here. My manager didn't tell me I was gonna be signed up for this. So, I gotta find my ride. I don't know where it is. Yo, Jocelyn! Jocelyn! You know what? I'm just gonna walk it back. It's a beautiful farm. Just hope I get back in time for Preakness. Jocelyn? Jocelyn?
Come on. Let's rise. Show me what you got. Get a sip of the rye.